Hey guys, it's Bill from Linden, Tennessee. So in previous videos, and some of them you'll have to go back pretty far to find, I have a Murray riding lawnmower that I converted to electric about 4 years ago now. And the first iteration was an electric motor that simply replaced the engine and drove the mower deck and the transmission and drove the tractor also. Then I moved the motor from where the engine was and directly coupled it to the transmission. Then I made a mowing deck from an old 1970s Cub Cadet and put a second motor on it. That way I could pull the lawnmower behind the tractor and remove the lawnmower from the tractor if I wanted to use the tractor for other things without having a deck on the bottom of it. And then I got to thinking how cool it would be if I could have other things that were electric. And I had a little plow, a tiller, an old tiller. And I took the electric motor off of the mowing deck and mounted it to the tiller. But that was kind of a pain in the butt because I had to literally unbolt it from one device and bolt it to the next device. So I came up with a way that I could use a receiver hitch that I, for some reason, welded to the back of the lawnmower deck. I could use that receiver hitch, mount the motor on the male part of the receiver hitch, I guess you'd call it the hitch, and use that to interchange between all these different devices. Then I could put some bolts on the part that's receiving the motor that could secure the motor to it and also adjust the belt tension. So that's what I did. So then I had a mower deck, and then I had a tiller, and then I also had a wood chipper. So I took the engine off the wood chipper, fabricated up a mount for the motor, and now I have an electric wood chipper. The only thing that I had left in my shed was this pressure washer right here, and it had this engine right here on it. The whole thing I doubt had 5 hours on it. This is for sale, by the way, if anybody wants it. Give me $100 or make me an offer. So yeah. So the other day, I took the engine off of it, took the motor, and mounted it like this. There it is. So first iteration, I used one of these like solid couplers. So the motor shaft was here, and then the shaft that goes straight into the pump was on the bottom. But that's really, it kind of presents a problem because it's very hard to 100% accurately align the motor shaft so it's straight on with the input of the pump. So I ended up getting what's generically referred to, well, not generically, but it's commonly referred to just as a Lovejoy connection. Lovejoy is actually a company. I don't really know what you'd call these cushion mounts. So I don't know. But anyway, it's basically two pieces that have a rubber piece in between them, sort of, and they allow for a certain amount of misalignment, sort of in all axes. So the motor could be, off this way, could be off, horizontal versus vertical. It could be off left or right. It could be off in a number of axes, but that Lovejoy connector sort of allows for misalignment and will save the bearings in the pump. So this little bracket, I put a little hitch on there so I can put it behind the tractor, and the hitch is necessarily short because the cables on the motor are short. Now if I had any sense, I would have just lengthened the cables on the motor, and then I could have had a little bit longer tow bar, but it doesn't matter. I'm not going to be maneuvering this thing around very much. Maintained the back wheels on this, and it's light enough that you can just sort of scoot it around the yard. But that's it. It's pretty basic, really. It was kind of an easy swap. So, and the way I did this was I took a piece of 2x4, a 4x4, and sort of set it underneath the motor on both sides so that the motor was held, and it was held to the accuracy of the dimensions of a 4x4. So not fantastic, but good enough that this Lovejoy thing can handle it. And then this tow bar is welded to this part, which is on this 1/8 inch steel, so I put this little support brace in there so that the loads of the tow bar aren't transmitted through the joint for the coupler. And then the way I got it sort of more accurate is I made this little go no go gauge. So just a bolt that I had laying around and some nuts, and this is exactly tall enough to fit underneath it here. And then I just kind of went around the whole thing, made sure it was the same everywhere, and welded in that little cross brace that I was talking about, and that maintains as good as accuracy as I can get, and I'm pretty happy with it. So let's go see how it works. All right, let's see how this thing works. The keen observers out there will notice that there's different tires on this. I was cutting the grass yesterday, and one of my tires got a flat. I can't believe they lasted as long as they did, but it got a flat. I didn't have any way to fix it, so I had some extra ATV tires that I mounted on there. They're about an inch taller. Anyway, so there it is, all hooked up. Now I found the best way to make this thing work is you got to get the air out of the supply hose. So just take the tip off of the gun and turn the water on, and then just open the trigger for the gun, and then get the air out of it, because the pump won't pump if it doesn't have water. Imagine that. So as always, the way to start this thing, got my little controller over here. Main switch is off, and you just kind of turn it on. You're going to hear it sort of spool up, and then it's going to have a load on it, and I guess that's the pump energizing or pressurizing or something like that. So here we go. There you go. Now we'll turn the pump on, full power. I don't know if I'm going to be able to show you this, but I'll show you the amp draw. Maybe, well, you can't see it. Oh, hell, I can't see it. It's we're pulling about 800 watts right now, and if I go and pull the trigger, that goes up to about 2,500 watts. So this thing, it's actually pulling quite a lot of power. This is as much power as the tractor pulls when I'm cutting the grass. So man, this thing's kind of, yeah, it's got a lot of juice behind it. So yeah, but it works good. Let's see what it does. You can take the bowl off the side of your garage if you want to. That's pretty awesome. Yeah. So yeah, works like a champ. I love it. It's wonderful. Then you come over here, you turn off the main power, and then you slow it all down. There it is, man. Works great. Really happy with it. So, thanks for watching. Yeah, so one last thing. The way this thing comes apart is I've got one bolt that goes through this way, and it's got a nut welded on the other side, and that just holds the the side loads, so this thing doesn't twist out of here. If I'd have been thinking, I'd have made this I'd have cut open the other side, and that way the side loads would be pushing against the mount instead of pushing against this bolt, but it's okay, it won't matter. Yeah, and then you loosen up these two, and then you just take and you rotate this thing out sideways, and then you can go ahead and you can lift it up off of that little Lovejoy. So that's how that comes out. And there's obviously no belts or anything to adjust or unadjust. The kind of pain in the butt thing, but not really, is each time I swap the motor to this or from this to something else, I have to take the motor side Lovejoy connection off. But I mean, it's not hard, and for as much as I'll use a pressure washer, it's not that big of a deal. It's kind of the same deal with the tiller. I have to swap pulleys out whenever I use the tiller, but like I said, for as much as I use these pieces, it's not that big a deal. It doesn't take that long. So, okay, that's it. Thanks for watching.